It seems these days everyone has an opinion on the obesity crisis. So the question is, are we lazy or can we blame our parents? Well, this ain't your dad's BMI. Hey guys, Julia here for DNews. Obesity seems to be on the rise. Polls and studies like the 2004 Gallup Health Weights poll show that nearly a third of all Americans are clinically obese. But it's not just the ends of the scale. Most people on average are 10% heavier than the average person 30 years ago. Seems everyone's a little rounder in the middle. So are we lazy or did previous generations screw us over? Well, recent research suggests we aren't getting lazier. It seems even if you eat the same amount of calories and exercise the same amount, your BMI might be 2.3 points higher than Marty McFly, according to a new study published in the journal Obesity Research and Practice. So what's going on? Maybe it's not just the food we eat or the amount of binge watching we do. Maybe it's environmental too. I mean, believe it or not, there's evidence that all animals are getting bigger, and dogs just don't marathon shows in one sitting, which this whole thing's kind of crazy. Like, why haven't we talked about this before? In a study published in the journal Proceedings of the Royal Society B, researchers looked at 20,000 animals from 8 different species. They called these species canaries in the coal mine, animals that live near and around us that could give us clues if things are heading south. They found that several species like cats and dogs and rodents are getting bigger, which I know you're probably thinking, like, as our diets get more processed and less healthy, so do theirs. But the weight gain held true not just for wild rats living off of our trash, but even rats in labs fed a specially controlled diet got chubbier. Some researchers point the finger at obesogens, which a study published in the journal Environmental Health Perspectives defines as dietary, pharmaceutical, and industrial compounds that may alter metabolic processes and predispose some people to gain weight. Basically, the idea is that low background levels of certain chemicals can be linked to an increase in weight. And what chemicals are those? The study implicates several chemicals like DDE, a DDT breakdown product, the notorious BPA used in plastics, and BFOA used as a protective coating on some fabrics like carpets. Sometimes these chemicals find their way into an expecting mother, from a water bottle, from upholstery, and it disrupts the fetus's development. In several animal studies, the generation exposed to chemicals while in the womb were fatter than their parents. The most common theme of these chemicals is that they're known endocrine disruptors. These types of chemicals are frequently linked to ill health effects like weight gain. They can change the way adipose or fat cells work. Rather than triggering the body to make more of these fat cells, endocrine disruptors can make the cells hold more. The cells get bigger. But maybe there's more than just what we're exposed to in the environment. Even routinely prescribed medications seem to have weight gain as a side effect. 70% of Americans take some form of prescription drug, and antidepressants are one of the most common. More than 10% of people are on them at one point or another. Unfortunately, many are linked to a rise in weight, not because they change fat cells necessarily, but maybe because they increase appetite. But that could be because loss of appetite is a symptom of depression, so maybe these people lost weight because they were depressed and simply put their normal weight back on. Other studies, like one published in PLOS ONE, show a strong link between weight gain and almost all antipsychotic medication. And other common medications like anti-seizure meds and, ironically, medications for blood pressure and diabetes can lead to some people putting on the pounds. But it's hard to tell what's really causing the link between weight gain and these drugs. But authors of the study published in the journal Obesity Research and Clinical Practice think besides all that I've mentioned, our microbiomes might be to blame too. Maybe the hormones and antibiotics in our food might be changing the gut bacteria that help us digest food, potentially leading us to gain more weight. But it's kind of hard to take a sample of someone's microbiome from 30 years ago to compare it to the microbiomes of today, so it's hard to draw conclusions here. But all this taken together makes a strong case that there's more to the story than just diet and exercise. And some people think health food might be to blame. Matt Lieberman finds out the answer in this episode right here.
Study authored by the American Marketing Association shows that foods marketed as fitness, diet, or healthy options can lead to overconsumption and actually reduce consumers' motivation to exercise.
So what do you think? What if diet and exercise can't stop the rise in obesity? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you don't miss a single DNews episode.